you and your crew were the first human beings to leave space, Earth's orbit, and to actually see Earth in its full beauty. How was that for you, sir?
Well, I think of my space experience, Apollo 8 was perhaps the one I remember the most, the one that I think was the most important. It was the first flight to the moon. It checked out the navigation and the communications all the way out there. It was the first time humans had seen the far side of the moon, and the first time also to see the Earth as it really is.
Tell me about those last 60 seconds before touchdown, before the eagle landed in the surface of the moon.
Well, at 60 seconds, a light comes on in the cockpit on the instrument panel in front of me, and they know the fuel level back in mission control in Houston. Mm-hmm. So the light came on, and Charlie Duke, the mission controller, who later landed on the moon, said 60 seconds. Now we're still about 100 feet off the ground. And I was getting a little concerned, because if you run out of fuel at 100 feet, it's going to hit the ground pretty hard, even in 1/6 gravity. By the time we got to 30 seconds call, we were 10 feet. And I was much relieved then.
Did you told your...
No, I didn't want to disturb him. Now, he heard all these things, but Neil was concentrating on the smoothness of avoiding some rocks that were not a good place to land and to fly over them on the other side. And that takes a little more time and a little more fuel. I was able to look over and where the side of the spacecraft down and met the floor, there was a lot of dust that we tracked in, but there was something sitting there that was unusual, and it sure looked like the broken off end of a circuit breaker. And that one's got to be pushed in before you can leave the moon to come back to the Earth.
And then what happened? What did you do?
I've started a new answer to that question.
Okay.
We missed an opportunity for a great line. We could have said, Houston, we've got a problem. So now what are we going to do? I wasn't going to use my little finger, because behind that broken, there are electrical currents. And or I wasn't going to use a metal-tipped pen. Now that's what the people in mission control thought we had, but we also had, and it was authorized, a felt-tip pen. So that's what I used to push it in, and Houston says, Roger, we got power.
Mexico ever? Have you ever been to Mexico?
Many times, many times.
What is your favorite part of Mexico?
Oh, gee, I can't pick favorites. I've enjoyed all the places I've been.
What would you say, I guess, word of advice for its little 6 year-old?
Oh, I'm not good at giving advice. I don't know enough to give advice, but I think all children who have curiosity and study and try to learn will do very well.
Two things. Number one, the people who don't want to believe, who think it was some kind of conspiracy, missed one of the greatest adventures in the history of modern man. They weren't part. You were part of it. You're excited. The other thing is, where did that big Saturn V go? What do we do? Hide it up there somewhere? That, you know. But even better than that, we've had low-flying lunar orbiters flying over the moon at 30,000 feet, taking pictures of all of our rover tracks. There's my descent stage. There's my lunar rover. You can see it. My daughter's initials, you can't quite see those, but they're in the sand right next to the lunar rover. What more proof? What do we do? Make those pictures up? You know what? I don't care what they think. I know what I did. I know what I went. I know what my feelings are. And They just cheated themselves by not being part of discovery, quite frankly.
Cuando Michael Collins, Buzz Aldrin y Neil Armstrong abordaron este cohete Saturno V el 16 de julio de 1969, llevándolos 4 días después a la superficie lunar el 20 de julio, no solamente lograron el máximo logro tecnológico en la historia de la humanidad, pero también lograron por primera vez quizás en la historia moderna del hombre unir a toda la humanidad durante 4 días de magia del Apolo 11. Reportando del Centro Espacial Johnson, Administración Nacional del Espacio y Aeronáutica, con imágenes de Eric Francisco Villalobos, Noticiosos Televisa.